So because of time, we're just going to pretend like I was here last week, even though we both know that I wasn't, okay? Okay, now that we've agreed on that, let's talk about the most recent episode of Skinny Girl in Transit. Hey you, welcome back to my channel. My name is Adenike, Adebayo-Esho. I am a movie and lifestyle vlogger. Wow, we have come to the end. Well, almost the end of the year. I hope you had a Merry Christmas and a very beautiful celebration. Okay, let's get to it.
Okay, so who is going to be the main provider?
So I didn't get to talk about last week's episode, right? But one thing I just want to mention real quick was that based on last week's episode, I actually quite like Farida. I just forgot I'll mention that there's just something about her, you know, she's just likable. See, you guys, when I'm telling you something, be listening to me, okay? Did I not tell you guys Tiwa isn't pregnant? I explained it to you. I told you, I foresaw it. I told you that it could be stress, you know, there's been so much tension, and so it's only natural that our body will respond. She's stress eating, she's missing a period, and all those things. So, she's not pregnant. We can take a chill pill now. We are still on this whole wedding planning thing. Like, I'm just like, can we please just let it go? Can we just have the wedding already? You know, DJ, a band. Yes, we'll do both. At my wedding, I had both. I had a DJ, I had a band. Everybody is happy. Derry, on the other hand, is just a spoiled brat and she's out of control. So I'm going to rationalize Derry and Mide's relationship as such. Because growing up, Mide did not curb Derry's excesses and attitudes on time. He lost control of her and being able to just put her in her place. So that's why she can walk into his office. I don't care that he's your big brother or whatever, or you people are family. Why can you just walk into his office and sit on his desk? This whole conversation about RH factor, I actually quite like it and I appreciate it. I think it's bringing awareness to something that's very important that people need to, or couples, people that are dating, and even those that are going to go into relationships and then eventually marriage, need to be aware of. You know, it's unfortunate that Mide and Tiwa are just finding out about it now at this stage when they're almost at the altar. But these are conversations. I was going through the comments and someone was saying, how do you fall for someone without knowing at least the person's genotype? You know, like, and at this time and age, like, up front, that should be like your top 5, one of your top 5 questions. We need to know before we even jump into something we'll now be struggling to get out of. Can we just tick the boxes right now? When you do your blood tests, okay, they don't just do genotype. They'll do everything. They'll do pregnancy, they'll do RH factor, they'll do your blood group, they'll do genotype, and then it's usually 5, HIV, hair, usually 5, I think HIV. And so either 5 or 6, they are different, that they do at once. So it's not something that you should just go and say, oh, I want to do my genotype. Moving on, with everything that has been happening, I've noticed that Mide has become quite short-tempered and it's unattractive. You know, I mean, you know, we like Mide and stuff, but let's call a spade a spade. I understand it's been under a lot of stress, which is, I mean, considering everything that has been happening, that's understandable, right? However, I think it's taking it out on Tiwa, and it's just being short-tempered and just reactive to almost everything. And I think it's just unattractive. I'm just like, It's good Tiwa and Didi have that conversation. However, I just wished that they had it like a more serious and more in-depth conversation. I wish rather than just standing around the office and having the conversation, Tiwa actually sat her down and maybe had a heart-to-heart with Didi. I'm still waiting and I'm hoping that they give an explanation, because this is, I mean, Didi has always been out there, we know, but she has never gone off the bender like this. You know, so for her to become suddenly promiscuous, then it's just because of what? So herself and what's that guy's name that she dated in the previous season, their relationship didn't work out, and now she's just going from one guy to the other, to the other, to the other. It doesn't seem healthy. It doesn't seem like the Didi that we know. And so I'm still waiting for them to do that review of, oh, this is what she's dealing with. Because if not, it's not going to make sense that suddenly she's just promiscuous and suddenly she's just going from one guy to the other just because. If we get to the end of the season and they don't give us an explanation for Didi's behavior, I wouldn't appreciate it, because that's not a good is it trajectory I'm supposed to call it now that they put Didi on. if it comes out that it has no explanation, that's just the way they wanted to play out this season, I wouldn't like it so much. But it's good they talked about it, but still, we still don't know why Didi is behaving the way she's behaving, other than the fact that, oh, a relationship didn't work out and now she's just carefree. I feel like there has to be something more that we don't already know. See, maybe because AME is a counselor, but I've been blinded to a lot of things he has been doing. But in this episode, I was just like, yo, they need to fire this counselor, they need to send him back to school, and they need to withdraw his certification. Because I just feel like the counselor is always instigating fights between them rather than encouraging them to have a conversation. Like he's asking questions. He's supposed to ask questions, but he's supposed to encourage conversations. Like when myself and my husband had our own counseling sessions, they will first tell you about your options. Like, okay, financial conversations. They'll first talk to you about your financial options. Like, oh, okay, these are the things, you know, why money is important in your marriage. They'll first give you a big view of finance in marriage before they now start asking you questions. And even the main questions, they won't sit in front of you and now be asking you, oh yeah, tell us, what have you decided? What have you decided? Do you understand? Like, it's a conversation they leave both of you to have after they've informed you. But on the other hand, I feel like Mide and Tiwa just need to grow up. They just need to, both of them have a lot of growing up to do. They argue over the littlest things. Why must you immediately start arguing? That is my question, and that is what pisses me off about this whole journey that both of them have been on, about their disagreements and all of that. Why can't you have a conversation that doesn't immediately lead to an argument? So for example, the counselor says, oh, so who's going to be the breadwinner of the family? And Mide goes, oh, I am, and Tiwa goes, both of us, right? And you look at each other, you smile, and you're like, oh babe, well, I was hoping that, you know, I was thinking, not hoping, but I was thinking that both of us can contribute to the family. I mean, I don't want to put too much pressure on you. And Mide might go like, oh, I know you're right, but I just want to be able to provide for you and not have you worry about anything. And that would have been the end of conversation. You're working, I'm working, everybody is fine. How did the conversation go from who is going to be the breadwinner to I'm quitting my job, or you have to quit your job? It went from 0 to 100 like in the blink of an eye, and I was just like, why are you two just constantly fighting? You can have a conversation without arguing, and I think that's my biggest problem with both of them right now. The counselor did make sense towards the end of his statement when he was talking about how they are a team and they need to figure out what works for them, because at the end of the day, it's what works for both of them. And you'd realize that these are conversations that it's not that hard. And that was what the counselor said. That made me go like, oh, okay, maybe he had some brain after all. This whole thing about Farida and Mohammed and Shalewa, it's sad, you know, it's a bit sad. I don't feel too sorry for both of them, maybe because I'm not so invested in their relationship. I think Mohammed is just being a coward right now. He needs to make a decision. He needs to just be a man. He needs to man up. Just man up, make a decision, and, you know, live with it and move on. Stop stringing people along and stop putting. I understand, like, oh, it might have to do with fighting his family members or whatever, but you fight them when you've made a decision. Like right now, you still have a girl living in your house and you have another one that's just there not knowing where she belongs. So I like the fact that Shalewa actually told him, you know, let's take a break, go figure out what you want to do. Shalewa has grown the most in this series, and I like it. Let me just say this, right? I'm starting to get tired, you know, of it. And I don't want to get tired of it. I'm talking about HGIT. I'm starting to get you know, and I don't want to get because I love it so much. But I just wanted to mention it because it would be dishonest of me if I don't tell you guys that I do have that feeling of just winding down, you know, not so exciting as it used to be, right? Yeah, what do you guys think? I want to hear from you down below in the comment section. As always, let's continue the conversation there. Thank you guys so much for watching. And yay, 2018. Looking forward to 2019. I will still see you again in 2018 before we enter 2019. But until then, remain in God and God bless you. Mwah. Bye.